What's up, Geek Out riders? We on the ride because we just saw Deadpool 2.
It was great, man.
Oh yeah, so now you know we're both about to
Geek Out.
Yeah,
let's go.
For real, let's do it, man. Oh my goodness, let's start from the beginning of the movie.
Even from the start, it had a lot of different shocking turns, I guess is the right word. Surprise character that they actually did hold off very well. I didn't see anything in advertisements and stuff.
Let's slow it down here, buddy, because let's start with the first scene when it first comes in. Classic. Yep. They had to try to come back with something to match the intro of the first movie, and man, they did pretty good. The first scene was classic, especially since it was a homage to what started the whole Deadpool movie anyway. So It's hard for them, but they did a great job.
Yep, I completely agree there, man. Well, definitely, even from the start, I ended up being really into the movie, and they started to incorporate from the very beginning that same you're wondering how I got here type of thing, where they did a flashback basically and started to tell the story.
Yes.
And I actually think that was a really interesting and cool way to go about it, especially for Deadpool. Oh man, even from the start though, so many references to everything else, and I love that they ended up hitting it on the head when it came to all these different superhero movies and all genres.
They were going in on all the different movies, whether superhero, whether Marvel or DC.
Even? They had no chill. They were like, we don't care who you are. If you released a hero movie, you're gonna get snapped on for it.
Right, for real. With all the Marvel references that they were making, the jokes, I was thinking, maybe they feel like now that they're part of Marvel, they have it's fair game.
Yeah.
You know what? one of the my favorite references was the Interview with a Vampire. Because that not only was one of the funniest parts of the movies, guys, I'm not going to spoil too much of that, man, but Mohinder is back.
Yes.
Mohinder is back, and he is hilarious. And they referenced the Interview with a Vampire, and that had a special moment place for me because, secret to you guys, that actually was my first movie makeout. And little spoiler, I'm a little older, you guys, but that was actually the first movie, not just my first movie makeout, but also the first time second base. Man, she ended up having a boyfriend who's older, and got me in some trouble. But hey,
talk about memories.
Hey, I had some older friends. I had some older friends too, and they just, they took care of it for me, put it like that.
I feel you.
But anyways, back to Deadpool, man. Let me tell you, man. Oh my goodness, man. The humor is just I was laughing with my whole body. I couldn't sit still. I'm just laughing so hard. I'm like I was going into a cardiac arrest. So good, man. So good. So one thing that you mentioned that they were good at is keeping the similar formula to the first one, where they did the flashback, where they do the intro, and they start off with that. But it was completely different movie, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, it still was. It's definitely its own movie, but they still did a very good job with it, the same way that they did with Deadpool 1. So,
well, I want to talk about how it's a different movie.
Oh yeah. So when it came to I guess differences, in the first movie, it was definitely Deadpool, all the spotlight, not really exploring too much on other characters. Yes, there were still some references, but they were kind of baby ones, and if you weren't really following everything up to date, you may have missed something along the way. In this one, they do a little bit more obvious references to movies that a lot of people are okay, yeah, this was very obvious, it stands out, and it's also great at the same time. It's not a sore thumb that sticks in your eye standout. It's that standout of oh my gosh, this is amazing type of standout.
The first movie was more let's try it and see if we can get away with it. Now it's
have fun.
They know they can get away with it, so they're gonna do it. So it's that's awesome. But what they started to mention though was the how they build more on the other characters.
Yep.
And that's one of the great things they did in this. This was he was building a team, and it felt like you were getting to learn, get to know the team as well. You know what I mean? So it wasn't just Deadpool all in the limelight. So that was one great thing I thought about it.
Yeah, I definitely enjoyed that part of the film for like the majority of it, because I loved all of Deadpool's stuff, but it was really cool to touch a little bit more on the characters that you don't normally see that often. It was a little bit cool to see a bit more of their personality come out.
Right, you learn who Cable is.
Oh yeah,
a little bit about Domino, what kind of personality she got.
Yeah, I'm kind of shocked that they didn't make any references about Domino and Deadpool being together, like throughout the movie.
Because everybody loves it.
Vanessa.
Yeah, Vanessa from the first one. So, and that's what's like. That's why it was a little heartbreaking. So you guys know already the spoilers. So they take Vanessa out of the scene, to create that contrast, but also to break him free, so that way he can explore and have more stories. You know what I'm saying? Because
exactly.
if he was living that life of married type of life, then we wouldn't have no more type of movies. But also for him to grow personally, right?
Yeah, that's true too.
And that's what the huge part about the movie, what the movie was about, him growing as a person.
Yeah, his character. And
from being the solo act that he was in the first one to being more of a team / family guy.
Yeah.
So yeah, and that was really great. And with that, how about his adopted son there, I guess you could say.
That was actually kind of cool.
Was it Julian, that's his name?
I think. I can't remember. I'm not quite sure. I know that like his superhero name or whatever it was like Fire Fist or something like that.
Fire Fist, was it?
Yeah, I can't remember.
Yeah, I couldn't remember.
Something like that.
I missed his superhero name. But speaking of that, his I guess you say his prodigal son there. I feel like he's kind of stole the show in some scenes, man. Like, that dude was hilarious. He created the emotions, the anger, him being trying to be gangster.
He did very good.
My goodness.
All of that, actually.
He got my nomination for best supporting actor right there. I gotta look up his name, man.
Yeah, I've never
killed it.
I've never really known about who that actor was in general. I can't really say I've seen him in anything else, but as of right now, for the first time of me seeing him on screen, he did an amazing job. Especially as playing a good secondary character.
Oh yes, he brought it, man. He definitely brought it, and all of them too, man. Josh Brolin, man, he killed it. And like we said before in the live video, we were both really excited about seeing Cable. So let's talk about Cable a little bit.
Oh yes, I was so hyped to finally have Cable on screen. I was really wondering how it would look and stuff. I wasn't sure if it would, all kind of piece together well. I wasn't sure if the CGI was gonna look kind of like old school, like I was thinking like Terminator-ish, or if they were gonna go like a new route, which they did go a new route, and I'm very happy with that.
They had a Terminator-esque scenes with Cable, and that's why I was surprised it took so long to even do a Terminator reference.
Yeah.
So did it meet your expectations?
To be honest, I think it did. It did meet my expectations. I was really hoping for like something surprising besides just Cable. I was really happy for Cable, and everyone knew that we were getting Cable, but I wanted to see a little bit more. Then they actually dug a little bit into Cable's backstory as well. I didn't know if whenever Cable showed on screen, if it was just going to be, oh, he's in the movie, but no one really knows what he is or who he's about, so he's just a supporting character. But no, they actually took the time, gave him his own few minutes of scenes and stuff, but they gave him some character.
They also still left some mystery, so that way when we continue to watch more Deadpool movies, spoiler alert, right?
Yeah.
Cable can still have some more, more stories to be told, and more, depth to his character, because he's not just gonna be somebody who's there because we already know about him. There's still to learn. So they did great on that too. Yeah. And I have to agree, man. Definitely met, if not succeeded my expectations, because like I said, Cable is one of those complex characters that are really hard to do, and I think they did a good job with bringing it. And the arm and everything, the cybernetic disease he's got, it looked really, really good. Like it looked like it was really part of his body. So they did excellent on that. The only thing that I was not a big fan of was the noises that they had his arm make.
Some of them, yeah, I agree with that, because it's like, if he is from the future for that far ahead and stuff, I feel like his version of Bucky's arm, how they referred to it, whenever he had his arm, I'd feel like it should be a little bit better than a little bit more of a modern one, because the tech by that time should be able to better support it. And hearing all those sounds and stuff, it was kind of cool, because you know, like, oh, well, obviously he's got like a metal arm type of thing going, but I don't think that was necessary. And I kind of agree with you there. I don't think that the noises were all like great. If anything, the noises kind of made it almost sound as if he was just wearing like an old like metal arm, like a knockoff of Bucky's, because it made like all these clicking and cracking noises, and you weren't sure like if it was working properly or something. But the fight scenes when he was using the arm was actually pretty sick.
Yes. Well, the thing was again, like I said, it's Terminator-esque, and I think that's what they were trying to go for with the whole noise of the arm.
Yeah.
But it sounded more Alien-esque, like the Alien movies, the type of noises that the aliens will make as they're going through,
like the
versus
clicking?
in the hissing type of sound.
Yeah.
So it didn't sound more. It didn't sound robotic at all to me, to be honest with you, and that was a little disappointing. But I can easily brush that stuff off for the rest of the movie, because that movie was awesome.
Overall, yeah, Cable still did an amazing job in the movie in general. Like the way that he had his own like special gun and stuff like that, I thought that was cool. And Deadpool getting to play around with it was kind of funny.
Now Deadpool, first X-Force. Deadpool's first X-Force. Now he put together the X-Force team, and man, what a funny group of characters, man. And first off, shout out Terry Crews, man. Big fan of Terry Crews. Man, I didn't expect him to make a scene, and then I thought it was just going to be a quick cameo. Yeah. And he actually ended up becoming a character. But little spoiler alert, they all died.
Yeah, in like 5 seconds.
Almost all done. And Terry Crews goes first. That's why I mentioned. And I was actually surprised that they didn't make the black guy dies first reference. And I thought that was gonna be a joke. Come on, Deadpool, you missed such an easy joke. But
it all ended just as fast as it started.
Yeah, it was. But that was so hilarious. That was one of the funniest parts.
Did Terry die first?
Yeah, he went to the bus. He was the first one.
Oh, yeah. So they
killed the black guy first. But what about the characters? So Shatterstar was one of the characters that they had, and I was super excited. Yeah. Sorry to say, man, he was one of those unknown people that I was always a big fan of as a kid, because I just thought he was kind of like a Deadpool, if like Deadpool and Superman had a baby almost.
Oh, okay.
But he was more like he had like the morals, and he was this, the alien, superior being like Superman. Gotcha. But he had the blades and the badass martial arts like Deadpool. You know what I mean? So
I gotcha.
So I was very disappointed that he was. I was excited to see him. I even said to you, I was like, "Oh, Shatterstar, he even looks like he does in the comic books." I'm super excited. And then, right after, it was almost like the producers of the movie heard.
They gave it to you and then took it away,
just so they could take away my excitement.
Yeah. So when it came to the X-Force, because I know in the comics there's like mentions of the X-Force and stuff. I never personally followed it super intently, so I didn't really know of like many of the characters that actually pertain to the X-Force, so I don't know how accurate that was to the comics. I don't know if you know, like for example, you said that you followed what was his name, the alien guy?
Shatterstar,
yeah, Shatterstar. I don't know if he was actually part of a real X-Force in the comics or not. I'm sorry, I didn't really follow the character there.
Well, it wasn't that I followed the character himself, but he was actually part of the X-Force, and I followed the X-Force as a kid. Yeah, definitely. Like I said, Cable, one of my favorite all-time favorite characters.
I gotcha. Yeah, for me, I was also kind of happy that whenever they started poking fun at like Wolverine movies and stuff, especially towards X-Men, that they all had that one scene where he's basically like giving them the middle finger, and there's an open door where you just see Beast like.
It was more like they were giving him the middle finger, like, "Oh, we don't want to be nothing to do with this guy in his movie. Let's just close this door and exit out of this scene real quick."
Yep.
But that was awesome. That was classic, because he was right, man. He's like, where everybody at? And speaking of X-Men, because diehard X-Men fan. Like I used to say, like I said before, Wolverine my favorite character. Instead of saying Wolverine, I said my 3 favorite characters are Spider-Man, Batman, and X-Men. You know, just to sum it up, because I love all of them. But just to say, remember when Infinity Wars, when all those characters were coming out and we were getting goosebumps?
Yeah.
I probably got that more than any scene when the Blackbird came out.
Really?
If you guys don't know, the Blackbird is the X-Men's personal jet. You know how the Avengers have the Quinjet, well, the X-Men have the Blackbird, and it makes actually a couple cameos in the movie. And I have to admit, being such an X-Men fan,
it was just something about it.
I got a goosebump.
Touched you in the right places, right?
Blackbird, yeah, in action. But with that, something we both were super excited about because we're both X-Men fans. Mm-hmm. The surprise guest of the movie.
Oh yes, this was definitely my probably like more favorite part of the entire movie.
Yeah, we were both.
Was the surprise guest.
We were both like anticipating it. We were both like, no, it can't be. Do you think it is? That looks like Juggernaut. Oh my God, it was. And they did him right this time, man. Because last time, he was pretty cool for the moment, but that was it. He was just a moment in that X-Men movie. But this time, man.
He was his own thing.
He was a beast too, just like in the comic books. He was huge.
Oh yeah.
And he did his thing. The fight scene with him and Colossus.
Yep. I was about to say that. I was like, I appreciate the fact that they finally gave a fight scene between Juggernaut and Colossus. Something about it just felt right, and I'm finally happy to see them both battle it out on screen. That was an awesome.
Oh yes.
Few minutes of our lives.
That was great. It was great. And Ryan Reynolds with the whole Marvel. Hulk reference, just go to sleep. If the sun's getting low,
getting low, big guy.
I was like, yo, this guy, he just never fails, man. Just his jokes are always so on point. And
I definitely love right after that. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. How Juggernaut right after that was just like, yeah, I'm gonna tear you in half now. Like right after that, just because he was annoying him.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
He's like, you're nobody to me. Yeah. He's like, you're just nothing. You're in my way. Get out of here. Yeah. And that's like, and that's why I said they did him right, because they actually kept him like true to like with Juggernaut, true really how he acts, and they even had him use his famous term of endearment where he calls the little man brother.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So the cons though.
Okay, cons. So if I had to say anything about cons, I would probably say that like it's hard to say cons, because if there was a con, the movie itself knew that there was a con to it and would point it out and then make fun of itself. So for example, the X-Men, as an example, not being in the movies, you're starting to build some more action here. Where are the other X-Men at? They covered that up with a joke, and then we're like, oh, we'll leave them in there for like 10 seconds just to show that they exist, but we're just going to close the door and Deadpool's still going to be its own thing.
Right.
Which covered itself very well. When
they did the lazy writing plot holes and stuff like that, they pointed them out. Yeah, but I'm with you. Like it was hard for me to find a single con in that. But if I had to say anything, this is why I brought it up, because when it came to the Juggernaut fight scene, him and Colossus, that was a badass fight scene. I loved every bit of it. But when the other two came and the rest of the X-Men came in, it was short-lived and ended. And like I'm not for that gross humor that Howard ended that, but I could deal with that if it was just a little longer of a fight scene between all of the X-Men. Yeah. They come in, they help Colossus take the dude out in a couple of seconds, and then they're done. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I was a little disappointed on that, but other than that, man, great movie. Yep.
The only thing I also I'd say a little bit of a peeve with is whenever the Juggernaut, fight ends, it's kind of like, so is he still in the pool? Is he unconscious? What? They don't really tell us much more after it's like a final blow is given, kind of.
Well, you know, I've seen a lot of other stuff happen, so you know, they could have dragged him out, left him there.
I just want to know. That's the only other thing. Is like, so what happened now that Juggernaut got? But
then again, that could be left to you know,
something in the future.
Something to come in the future. Hopefully, you know. Juggernaut was awesome. So speaking of that, Juggernaut even gets his own theme song at the end. So stay tuned for the end credits, man. And all the way through the songs, they got the X-Force theme song and then the Juggernaut song. So funny, man. And definitely great geeking out with you, man.
Always.
You guys check out Deadpool 2 for sure. You know, we're going on to what you were talking about with the Hulk. You know, he was in that Hulkbuster, and I was just waiting. I really so bad wanted him to just Hulk out in the Hulkbuster, so that way when he comes out, that the Hulkbuster, the pieces that are left on him, end up working like armor on him, and he ends up like being like looking like badass like he did in Thor Ragnarok.